discussions with Senator Pimentel. On page 5, line 4, after the word lands, insert the phrase consisting of 2,600 hectares situated in Barangays Saliptip and Bangbang. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, adopted.
On section 16, tax exemptions. On page 5, line 26, delete the phrase a competent authority and replace it with the phrase the Bureau of Internal Revenue, BIR, based on the discussion also Senator Pangilinan, Cayetano, and Pimentel. I so move.
Any objection? Hearing none, adopted.
On section 17, revenue sharing with the government, on page 5, line 33, delete the phrase a competent authority and replace it with the phrase the BIR. This is in the discussion with Pimentel, Pangilinan, and also Senator Cayetano. I so move.
Any objection? Hearing none, adopted.
And lastly, on section 18, dispersal of ownership, on page 6, line 2 and 3, delete the phrase competent authority and replace it with the phrase the BIR. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, adopted. Any other amendment, no sponsor?
Senator Pangilinan is raising his hand, Mr. President.
Senator Pangilinan
Yes.
is recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Madam Sponsor. This is on the matter of the turnover after the period expires. Section 8, term of franchise, on page 3, line 33. Delete the phrase government agency or local government unit concerned and replace it with the phrase Department of Transportation.
I accept, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Sponsor.
It was already adopted a while ago. It was adopted, Senator Poe mentioned that earlier. It was your amendment.
Thank you, Madam Mr. President. Thank you.
Yeah, in section 8, term of franchise, line 33. DOTR instead of government agency or local government unit.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Madam Sponsor.
Senator Cayetano is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm ready, Madam Sponsor. Under section 4, may I proceed?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Insert a new section 2, which would read as follows. The grantee shall construct, develop, establish, operate, and maintain the airport in a manner that aligns with sustainable development goals. It shall comply with the highest environmental and sustainability standards and shall work and cooperate with affected local governments, communities, and other concerned groups to ensure safe and inclusive development. I submit.
Mr. President, I would just like to clarify, when it comes to the highest environmental and sustainability standards set by
I hesitate to say DNR because sometimes they don't have standards, no. But I'm subject to style, Miss Madam. Subject to style, Madam Sponsor. I like I said, no, I have not had time to really go through this, but you get the gist of my intention. So feel free to amend it in whatever way is acceptable. My point is, I know this company to be responsible, and I believe that would be their goal anyway. So,
are there any suggestions from our colleagues?
May we hear again the amendment of Senator Cayetano, please?
Actually, I can even just delete the word highest, no, because my standards that's set by DNR. I would suppose not always just DNR. So whatever relevant agency naman. I'll just take the word out highest because that seems to be very subjective.
Yeah, so environmental
like me to repeat?
standards.
Yes.
Okay, without the word highest, so it shall now read, hold on, I lost the screen. It shall now read, the grantee shall construct, develop, establish, operate, and maintain the airport in a manner that aligns with the sustainable development goals. It shall comply with environmental and sustainability standards and shall work with the affected local governments, communities, and other concerned groups to ensure safe and inclusive development.
Yes.
All right.
I accept, Mr. President.
All right. But what section do you want that between 3 and 4 or after 4?
4. Second paragraph of a new second paragraph.
Second
section
paragraph
4.
of section 4.
Yes.
All right.
35 under section 4.
Hearing none, adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. President, Madam Chair, like I said, I don't have anything specific in mind, but I just want to point out that if we don't, I'm not sure if I missed it, no, but remember I point out what I thought would be a source of contention about 10 years construction or if they finish sooner. I don't know if Her Honors has decided to visit that provision.
Which
On
sections
page-
is it?
It is actually section 16, Mr. President, the second paragraph, line 21. Or wait, so is that it?
If we haven't actually.
No, I think section 8.
formulate-
Oh, no, wait,
Yes,
wait.
but we-
I am not sure where it is. But I remember bringing it up during the.
What is it again?
Honor remembers, no?
if you can give us more time, we just need a few minutes so we can draft and maybe our technical staff can work together with the draft. Senator Cayetano, Mr.
Yes,
President,
I'm
Line
pointing it out.
if you can give us a few minutes.
You're referring to the 10-year maximum period for the design, planning, and construction of the airport. Is that what you're?
I think it is section 16 wherein I pointed out that what if the construction period is completed before the year 10? So at what point would the new taxes kick in? We wait for 10 years or upon completion of the project? And then the second point is what project? Because I'm sure it's different phases. That's why I'm not proposing language because it already escapes my brain's power at this point.
After the 10-year construction period and during the remaining term of this franchise, the grantee shall be exempt from income taxes and taxes on real estate, buildings, and personal property levied, established, or collected, or may be levied, established, or collected by any city, municipality, municipal, provincial, or national authority. However, such exemption from income taxes and taxes on real estate buildings shall expire as soon as it is determined by the Bureau of Internal Revenue that the grantee has fully recovered its investment cost on the airport and on the airport city. Whereupon the grantee shall be subjected to all taxes under the National Internal Revenue Code 997 as amended and the Customs Modernization and Tariff Act. That's how it reads now.
Mr. President, is the senator from Taguig referring to section 16?
Yes, that's right.
Yes, 911 actually. I mean, I have something in mind, but I don't believe it completely captures the issue. So I'm hesitant to propose it. The idea, Mr. President, is something like this, but this is still incomplete. During the 10-year construction period, or until any part of the establishment inside the airport or the airport city starts commercial operation, whichever comes first. Because the idea is that the taxing structure changes once they start operation. But it should only start also as far as certain operations are concerned, not all, no? Because I'm sure it's by phases.
I guess we'll just submit to the decision of the body what they think about this. Is there any objections to this provision?
Mr. President, or how about just remove the word 10? Because if it finishes in 8, if it finishes in 9, 10, 11, the point was it for the tax to be covered during the construction period, and then the other tax provisions after. How's that?
During the construction period, not to exceed 10 years.
I leave that up to the chair. But that's acceptable to me. But if it exceeds 10 years,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
because
Like I said, I doubt if they would want to exceed 10 years. So it's not. I don't feel it's meant to be disadvantageous to the government.
That's right. But then if you say, as your concern was, what if they are already operational, and I mean, if they just make use of the 10 years, that was your concern. But if they actually finish earlier, that's why you want to remove the term 10-year. But then what if you remove that and they actually say, but construction period is still like 12 years, we're still not done? I don't know.
That's why there's no need for the 10 years. I think I believe, but again, like I said, I haven't had the chance to think this through, so I don't know if I'm creating more harm than good.
So during the construction period, remove the 10 years. Is that the will of the body?
If you do that, you will have to remove 10-year also in line 21 of the same section.
Mr. President, that's yes, with the permission of the sponsor.
Yeah, majority leader.
I think the 10 years is, for example, in renewable energy projects, it's a 10-year period that they grant income tax holiday and other incentives for the developer to be able to come up with hydropower, solar power, because it's a really expensive proposition as compared to putting up a coal plant or a bunker diesel plant. So I think 10 years, Mr. President, is a standard used in other franchises, Mr. President. And it's also a BOI also grants 10 years for certain industries already, Mr. President. I'm making an appeal to Ma'am Pia, to Senator Pia, if we can just remain with 10 years.
So allow it to remain as is.
Yes,
Yeah, Mr. President, I have no problem with the 10 years. I have no issue with the 10 years. It was just the structure of the sentence, so that we know when we transition to the next tax provisions. I am not questioning if it's 10 years, more than that. I have no basis to question, Mr. President, just for the record.
Okay, my apologies then.
I don't want to be the one to propose, because I was simply commenting on the clarity of the provision, not on the substance. So that's why I prefer not to be the one to make the amendment. Dahil baka masisipa ho ako kung meron ako. I was just saying, let's be clear about it. That's all. And the other point that I raised, Mr. President, was up to what extent will what businesses will be covered. So kung klaro naman yun for the body that what the aerospace is, and then I rest my case. I was just pointing this out, as I kept saying since the beginning. Thank you.
Well, yes, it's. I think it's pretty much covered by the enumeration, no? After airport city, taxes, VAT, percentage, excise. We can leave it at this unless you think of something else better. You can do it in the BICAM. Majority leader.
Yes, Mr. President. Absolutely. So with
All
that,
right,
Mr.
sir.
President, no other amendments. Mr. President, there is a phone-in amendment by the sponsor. So wala yung sponsor. Yan. No. Hindi COVID po yan. Na ano lang po tayo. Napapagod lang. Mr. President, there was an appeal. If we can, instead of putting the numbers of 2,600 hectares, they're requesting if the appeal could be consisting of areas situated in barangays Taliptip and Bambang. Mr. President, on page 5, line 4, after the words lands, insert the phrase consisting of the areas situated in barangays Taliptip and Bambang. Mr. President, that's an appeal to Senator Francis Tolentino. Francis Pangilinan.
Coco Pimentel. Coco Pimentel.
Yes, it was Coco who wanted the meets and bounds, considering that this is
The
it has to be
proposal is
specified.
two barangays consisting of the areas, and I can get the Bulakenyo here.
Yeah,
to-
Mr. President, if I may, I agree with the statements made by our distinguished majority floor leader, because you already identified from this particular amendment, you already identified the two barangays. So if you will be so strict with the number of hectares, baka ho mas mahirapan yung ating grant.
Yeah, so we're making an appeal, Mr. President.
Maybe just have a clarification. Would we have an idea how big the two barangays are? What is the total land area of the two barangays? I ask this because, if the two barangays total 10,000 hectares, then it becomes very vague.
It's a swamp area, Senator Kiko. So
And I don't
I
think,
don't know how
I know
to
Bulacan-
describe the area, but
and
it's a swamp area kasi.
di ba the
So,
town, I'm gonna ask this to our
the town is
colleague.
Bulacan.
Bulacan. It's not a very large town.
The good thing about mentioning this would be a middle ground between the suggestion of Senator Pimentel and the question of Senator Pangilinan and what you're saying. The good thing about naming the two barangays have meets and bounds.
Yes.
So
Definitely.
that's covered already.
It's already covered.
Problema.
Yes,
Now,
that's correct.
we do not have to spell out the meets and bounds here when you talk about the barangay already, because we did it in the cityhood of Makati. I sponsored the charter of the city of Makati without meets and bounds,
That's correct.
because there was a question between Taguig and Makati during that time for who owns Port Bonifacio.
Yes.
And
Actually,
we
until now,
wanted
Mr.
to pass the
President,
cityhood. So I appealed to my colleagues then. The number one interpolator was Senator Ernie Maceda, and he accepted.
Yes. Actually, until now, Mr. President, the meets and bounds of every
Yeah,
barangay is
exactly,
being
yeah.
questioned
Yes.
always by the
Mm.
DOF and the PIFG.
So the naming of the two
BIG.
barangays, I think, is more than enough.
Yes, Mr. President.
Well, Mr. President, just a manifestation. I do not object, Mr. President. My only concern is that, if this is, if there might be questions regarding the constitutionality, because the Constitution says that we must provide the size when we, if I may quote the constitutional provision, but I have to look for it. But size has to be defined or identified by Congress when it converts such lands, Mr. President. So if there is no size, then it might raise some legal questions.
But
Just
are
for
we converting the land?
Mr. President.
We are passing a franchise. We are approving a franchise.
But we are also reclassifying
Right.
certain lands. I think it is forest and mangrove lands, and Section 17 provides for the power to reclassify such lands into. In fact, we are reclassifying it into agriculture and mixed use, which includes commercial and industrial. So the bill is actually reclassifying forest lands into agriculture and mixed use commercial industrial lands. We are actually converting, Mr. President.
I've flown over that area. There's no forest left in that area, Mr. President. It's all fish ponds actually. It's all fish
Mr.
ponds.
Mr. President, I think
To answer the question of the good gentleman from Pampanga, I think the naming of the two barangays is a size. Because when you name the barangay, may under the Bureau of Lands, may meets and bounds na yan. Tama po yung sinabi mo, Mr. President. So when you name barangay Taliptip and Bangbang, yun yung area na may meets and bounds na yun under the government, under the
So,
Bureau of Lands.
which means we are converting the entire two barangays, Mr. President. I mean, is that the
Hindi naman po.
naming the two barangays, then the
Within these areas, within. Consisting they are situated.
The operative word is within.
Yes.
It does not say the entire barangay, the two barangays. Senator Tolentino is recognized.
Mr. President, to add more specificity, the words within the political jurisdiction of barangay Taliptip and Bambang.
Maganda yun, Mr. President. If it's okay with Senator Pangilinan, para we can move forward.
well, Mr. President, I just wanted that placed on record. Like I said, I will not object, but the Constitution provides that it has to be the size has to be determined by Congress when we make conversions.
Thank you, Mr. President. So may we know from the sponsor if she'll accept the amendment of Senator Tolentino and myself, and Senator Joel. Senator Grace, ma'am, you accept?
What does the sponsor say?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? Let me go back close to my...
On page
Could you
5,
repeat?
line 4, on page 5, on line 4, after the words lands, insert the phrase within the political jurisdiction
Barangays Taliptip
of the area situated of barangays Taliptip and Bangkok.
I accept, Mr. President.
All right. Any objection? Hearing none, adopted.
There being no other amendments, Mr. President.
There's a point of inquiry.
Yes.
Senator Gordon is recognized.
I know that we're going to name it the New Manila International Airport. I'm just reminded that in Iloilo, there was a contest between Santa Barbara and Cabuatan. Is it, Senator Duran? Is it Cabuatan? And there was also
Kabatuan.
Cabuatuan. And then in the case of Negros, there was a contest between Bacolod and Silay. I just want to be sure that we're clear on that this is going to be called New Manila. Otherwise, it will delay the proceedings between the two municipalities or two barangays, Mr. President. This is a point of information now.
It will not be renamed.
Del Pilar International Airport.
So, Mr. President, I move to close the period of amendments.
Any objection? Hearing none, period of amendments closed.
Mr. President, I move to approve on second reading House Bill number 7507. I so move.
Any objection? Hearing none, House Bill 7507 is passed on second reading.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you very much, everyone. With that, after a long day and a long night, and I commit to Senator Pia, for the record, tomorrow will be the only item on the agenda. Although humihirit ito si Senator Gatchalian na kung pwede ma-ratify yung bicameral report niya. Sabi ko, kausapin ko muna si Senator Pia.
If there is a lull, perhaps,
Yes.
but if there is a lull, perhaps that can be accommodated. But
Yes.
the interpellators tomorrow, and you have informed them already.
Yes,
Senator
Gordon,
Senator
Senator
Recto,
Recto,
and
and
Senator
Senator Drilon.
All right.
And it will be the only item on the agenda.
Mr. President, can we name the three interpellators, the good, the bad, and the ugly? Since I'm first, I'll be the
The good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, I will not ask you to switch. So, thank you very much, Mr. President. With that, we adjourn session until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Tuesday, October 6, 2020.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, everyone.
Any
Thank you.
objection? Hearing none.
Right.
Session is adjourned until 3 o'clock in the afternoon of Tuesday, October 6, 2020.